Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. This is the weekly Africa podcast news show where me, Michael or mikeymushi, and Wongel talk about the happenings, the things that happened in Africa news-wise, and we give our own personal opinions, and together with you guys discuss in the comments. And yeah, we just talk about what's happening in Africa, trade friend solutions, and all. And so maybe let's, Wongel, you can tell the people.
Yeah, as we wait for our people to come in and join us, we would like to hear from you. If you've watched the 1 million, Road to 1 million. Was it last week? It was exactly last week on Friday. Right?
Yeah. It was exactly.
Yeah. Anybody was there? Anybody?
Let's see.
Tell us, and then also tell us. Can you hear us clearly? Can you see us clearly? Because that can be an issue as well.
Yeah. So we reached 1 million subscribers. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. And as the short video said, Africa is truly watching. Because other than 1 million subscribers, we also reached 250 million views, which is so much. Yeah. Which is so much.
Insane.
So like there's so many people of you, so much of you who are interested in Africa, so much of you who want to know more about Africa, about other African countries, some about African people living in the diaspora, African people living in the Caribbean, African people, as we recently did, African people living in India, right? Yeah, so we are all over this world, and we can't just limit ourselves to our continent, which is huge by itself, but still. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining, and yeah, maybe we can start off. Oh, by the way, do you have any announcement?
Sorry?
Do you have any announcements?
No, I do not have announcements, but I still don't see people writing if they can hear us, or you can see it from your side. Nothing.
Yeah. Like I think people they can hear us because they're commenting.
Okay, they can hear us. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. So we can start. You want to start?
Yes.
Or?
Yeah. Like start us off.
I start?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So the first thing I want us. Okay, I'm hearing you well from Connecticut, USA. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you very much. We need to hear that. So the story I want us to start is about a Kenyan man that was awarded recently 18 million shillings in the US over facing racism by the cops. 18 million shillings is what? Like almost $200,000? Am I right? How much is it in USD?
Like 18 million USD? Or
No, shillings.
Okay. Like that's like about $180,000.
Dollars. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing. Okay. So, it is still money, right? It's free money. Okay, it's not free because they had to go through something to get that money,
Yeah.
But yeah, Oceans, I love both shows. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. I can hear and see you, Donovan. Thank you. And Suzanne, hey there. Thank you. I just wanted to thank you for telling us. Now, let's get into it now that you guys are here. So he was awarded 18 million shillings. For those of you that are watching outside of Kenya, means, as Michael told us, 180,000 USD, around that. So the reason why, if you're wondering why is he being awarded, So first of all, it's him and it's his Ethiopian wife that faced this. Okay, so they were awarded, actually to be specific, 17.3 million as compensation for being harassed by police in the United States of America. So his name is Yama Khalif and his wife name is Hawi Awash, where they were awarded the cash by the state of California. So the video went viral because they filmed it, thankfully. The police just came to their store, the store they own, this couple. They came and they're like, prove that this belongs to you, just randomly. And they're like, what do you mean prove that it belongs to you? Just prove it right now. And that back and forth, and the cops being really aggressive with them after the video was shared, they went viral. They left them alone. The unfortunate thing is they left them alone because a neighbor, a white person, came in their defense and said, no, they own this store. Otherwise, they would not have left them alone. So because of this, they even settled this outside of court because they knew if they took it to court, if they are taken to court, they won't win. So the county was like, okay, we'll pay. And I guess the couples thought, even though it's not a lot of money, it's better than like hiring our lawyer and paying fees from here to there. And, they're like, okay, give us the money and we're okay with that. But the reason why I also wanted to talk about this is because, Michael, I'm sure you've heard or you've seen how our people believe like going to the US or going to the UK or those countries, it's just like, it's going to make your life better and everything is going to be okay. I mean, let's be honest. If you work hard, there's still advantages there that are not here because of bad leadership, whatever, like unemployment. And there are so many things we need to do, but we have to start someplace, right? I will acknowledge that, of course, it is going to be easier for you to make it outside than here, but I think it's worth putting up the fight. At least we can start that. And so why I wanted to talk about this is because our people believe when they go to these countries, they'll be respected the way they're respected here on the continent. Like we are Black. In their eyes, it doesn't matter if you're from the Caribbean, the UK, you came from Brazil, Africa, all they care about is your skin color, and all of us are the same. So we have to understand when we're going there what we're going to face. Are we making this decision knowing that we are not going to be treated like equals, or we're not going to be treated like human beings? Basically, we've seen how they kill Black people on the streets. We see how they incarcerate Black people. They like that. The amount of stories I've done in the past 2 years of wrongful imprisonment, especially Black men, 30, 40, 50 years. And then when they're found innocent, finally, the state will be like, okay, let me give you just 1 million, 3 million, 5 million. And I'm like, but you've literally wasted that man's whole entire youth. Like, he was like 20 when he got in, now he's like 60. Like, what? So me, I am aware now after all the reports I've done and the research I've done, but like our people don't know. And I want them to understand when they're going to these countries what they're going to face. This is kind of like they're lucky because it was caught on camera, they were given compensation. But there are people that will die. I think just last month, was he from Congo, a Congolese man, or I forgot, the guy that was killed in the US by the police?
Yeah, we just shot behind the back of the head. Yeah.
Yes, that was an African there, right? Went there trying to change his life, thinking that, I'm going to change my family's lives. And then he just got shot because they, as far as they're concerned, Black means something that's just like crime. It just screams crime.
And also something shocking, like about like us Africans who are here, like the first time you're called Black or you're described as Black is when you go abroad, because here we've got no reason to racially divide ourselves. So like it's very weird, like someone going like, hey you Black man, like, because in Africa we don't even use that word. Like even in things like census documents, it's, are you Kenyan, are you Ethiopian, like they don't described people based on race. So when they go there,
Exactly.
all of a sudden they were just normal people like Kenyans or Ethiopians or Nigerians. All of a sudden they're black. They're like, what is black? A country is black? Like you get like it's very weird because over here you don't see it and you don't feel it, right? So and then they usually don't advertise it so much because like the West, they usually have this way of just portraying the success and the glitz, the drama, the Hollywood, right? The good life. So when you go there, you see in reality that it's mostly like a racial society that African Americans have been struggling to survive for like centuries, for 400 years. They've been struggling to survive over there. Then you've had freedom. You've had freedom over there. You're bringing yourself there, and you expect to like compare to the people who've been trying to survive over there against a system that's made to destroy you.
Yeah, you see, though, I think that's a disadvantage for us, not knowing how we're perceived, because even though we don't see it directly, like let's say in the US, between black and white or South Africa, as each and every country on the continent is being affected by white supremacists, by their laws, by their arms reach really far, by the things that they do with our governments or against our governments or with a rebel group, with all the things that they have been able to do. The we don't see it face to face, we don't understand it as much as they understand it because they face it on the ground on the day-to-day basis, right? I think it's also a disadvantage for us because it gives us the illusion that we are in control. We are not facing that racism and white supremacy the same way our brothers and sisters face in the diaspora or in South Africa.
But like I think even for us it's way worse because there it's direct and it's easy to identify it. But as you said, for us, like it's very sophisticated and like political, and like America can be like racially abusing you, but because you're still in Kenya, it's hard for you to know and identify it, right?
Exactly, but I wouldn't call it easy because you see, they have to live with them. At least you can identify and say, I'm Kenyan. You can have pride in that and you can try and change. How can a Black American change when he is within that system and they're controlling him? You get what I mean? Like, even if he traces back to his ancestral lineage, now it's going to be harder to come and get the passport and the citizenship. And, you know, that they are there with them, like with those evil people. Like, it's gonna be harder, I feel like. But both, I get it's the same enemy.
Like that. Like the trapped. It's not easy to because the many there's this movement of African Americans just leaving the US and coming back to Africa, right? And they don't say like half of them, but some of them really struggle to settle in with the culture, with how things work here, and some of them end up returning because they just came, they thought it's going to be easy or rosy. They come here, like, you know, everywhere you go in the world has challenges, right? So for those of the people, for those of those African Americans who've had enough of the United States, when they come in to Ghana, Tanzania, Kenya, just note it takes some time to adjust and don't expect everything to be like heaven or paradise, right? Like
I agree.
You expect realities.
I agree with you, and I think that's why we need to be honest with them as well. Like, when it comes to culturally, there's a culture shock between two countries within Africa, right? You don't even have to go far. There is going to be a culture shock. But aside from culture shock, things work really differently here. And their systems, as much as their system is really created for the white man, and that's what it's serving, they've really implemented a good system there. Everything works, at least almost, from if we compare our continent. Let's just be honest here. So for them, they're used to that, and like come here and it's like it takes time, or like there's bureaucracy, or things are done differently. I hear this a lot. We're slower, like we move, we're chill, right? Like nothing doesn't have to be like that. And so I think even the people that are showing the beauty of Africa, and recommending people to come and visit us or move here should also equally, I know it's hard because people will blame you or tell you that, why are you showing this? No, let's do this in an honest way so that they can be the ones, like there are people that are in that system where they can come and show us and we can change this or help us in this movement that we have been struggling with, right? It's not like we don't want to update ourselves, like look at our situation, it's the situation. But as we are seeing, there's so many coups, so many people saying no more to nonsense or like a leadership that is not serving us. So I think once that leadership starts shifting and we start working on our systems and things that are working, I think they will enjoy it even more then. For now, though, I think the people that will enjoy it the most are, one, vacation, like if they're coming for holiday for 2 months, 3 months, and then also people that are coming here to be like off the grid. You know, those kind of people, I love them. I want that, by the way. Like I want in the future, like to have that house far away, which sustains itself, light with solar, water, your own water, you have your own vegetation and all that stuff. People like that will love Africa for sure. But some people that want the fancy life, by the way, the fancy life is still here, but it's more expensive, I would say. What do you think of, right?
So for me, first of all, thanks contending for Faith for the $10 super.
Thank you.
So for me, this is the advice maybe I have for people wanting to come back to Africa and do something different. First, don't do it because like out of anger, or don't do it immediately because you'll come here and you'll suffer, right? Do it slowly. As you said, come for a holiday in Ghana or Kenya for 2 weeks. Next time, invest in a business or invest in land or invest in property here. The other time, come with your family, stay for a couple of months. Like, keep doing that. So over 10 years, when you finally come here, you know a bit of the language, you know how things work. Like, you will not have that shock, right? And then there's another category for like the diasporas, the Kenyans and the Ethiopians who went to the United States in the 90s, in the 80s. For them, it's great, like it's easy, you know, because they always keep ties. They're always, all that money they've made, they're mostly investing back home. So for them, they can make that decision anytime. So I think African Americans see that hey, I was with this guy, he just went to Ethiopia, right? And he's started this business and is good. He thinks it's going to be that easy. They don't know the back what that guy was doing. So if you have dreams of finally coming back to the motherland, do it in steps, be realistic, and first start with investing, right? If you're investing in land, if you're investing in property, and you're finding it hard, like to negotiate, I don't think Africa is for you. But if you're patient and you do things slowly, I think eventually majority will return, not permanently, but partially. They should have 1 foot in Africa, 1 foot in the United States, and countries like Brazil, Colombia, because for some reason, you know, I think Brazil, has more people of African descent than the United States.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like we did a list. I think it's Brazil, United States, then Colombia, then Venezuela. Yeah, then Venezuela. You think how many? You don't think how many Africans are around the world. So yeah, just like what I'm saying is just not for the United States, but for everybody, like in the diaspora. Like I think that's a more realistic future, because like I always have this concept of reverse colonialism, right? So like imagine all the money Jay-Z, Beyonce, all those Will Smith, all those African Americans have made, right? It's in the billions, right? Because I think Jay-Z and Beyonce are just billionaires, right? So for me, doing reverse colonialism, all the amount of money that the West took from Africa, all the amount of resources, right? People of African descent and African Americans and African who are in the United States should slowly return it through investing back to the continent, right? Yeah, so
that's true.
So, yeah, and for me, I think realistically, that's only reparation we'll ever get from those countries. There's no way the United States will ever be like, okay, yep, we owe these guys $5 trillion for all this. Yeah, so I think that's the best way to get back what belongs to us.
Yeah, and also I remember, maybe it's not the exact same thing, but I remember I was reading this book and she was talking about how the difference between Asian countries and African countries, they're both corrupt, but the Asian countries invest in their own country. So they're growing, there's still corruption, but they're growing, their economy is growing, they're eradicating poverty and all of that. In Africa, since after they steal the leaders, they quickly take it and send it back to the West. Now we're worse than where we started. So I invest
that, like with that point, there's like I think there's a speech. I forgot who was saying it. Nana Addo. You were saying the difference between the African community in the diaspora and the Asian community in the diaspora, like the Chinese. The Chinese people who live in the diaspora send everything they have back to the country. Like they're building China. They're here working hard in the United States, but none of that money is ever spent in the United States. So I think Africans and African Americans should take that attitude, right?
Yeah.
Get them from the United States, build your home, build your country, build your continent. I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and that's huge. You see, like it might seem little. Usually when we think about ideas, it can be, especially the ones that you really care about and you want to change, it might even paralyze you because you're like, I can't even contribute to this. This is too big. I don't know how to make a difference. But just individuals, one person at a time, doesn't have to be a huge corporation, one person at a time, it can make an impact. And it reminds me of Akon. He's one person. I know Akon is a bit controversial. I know. Some people do not trust his intentions. Some people do not like him. I get it. But let's just take him as an example because he has proven to be investing in Senegal, in Uganda, and now in DRC with mining cobalt and copper. So that's one person we're talking about here. So let's just not feel overwhelmed with the idea of change. Let's just do what we can individually.
Like for me, I'm sure like even $1 like helps. So people don't when I become a millionaire or when I make it in life. No, just start buying start investing in companies in Africa. It's not how much you invest in the United States. Just start slow. So for our second story, it comes out from Ethiopia. And it's a very dramatic one, like in the movies. So the Ethiopian government and their cyber security team foiled an attack to destroy the Grand Renaissance Dam, right? And in the statement, they were like the attack was from a foreign entity, from a foreign country, from a foreign intelligence service, and it immediately reminded me how Israel and the United States took down the Iranian nuclear research team. So there's this virus called Stuxnet, where the Israelis and the United States military found a way to put it in the computers of the Iranians, right? And it caused a meltdown, causing so much death and destroyed the nuclear capabilities. Like it set back what they did for 20 years. So I think the same technique, maybe like at this time we don't know which government is doing it. Also, so the reason about Stuxnet is that they were so proud and happy about what they did. Somebody had to brag about it, right? Nobody knew who did it, but they were so happy. Like somebody just came out and like, we did. We hacked the Iranians and destroyed their the nuclear research system. So coming back to Ethiopia, right? We all know the controversies of the Grand Renaissance Dam, where Egypt doesn't want it to be built, but it's already built, right? So now they're trying to destroy it. And Egypt has a lot of friends, especially in the West, right? A lot of big friends. They recently made these bilateral agreements with Israel, right? Everybody from the Arab world is like, what am I reading? Like things are really changing, like in that region. Egypt and the United States are closely tied. I think United States donates billions in military aid out of every country in Africa, right? Out of every country in Africa. United States gives Egypt the most aid, right? Egypt is the third richest
In Africa?
continent in Africa, right? South Africa first,
Mm.
Nigeria second. They always switch between Nigeria and South Africa. Egypt is there in the third. So think about it. The third richest country in Africa gets the most aid from United States. It's not for free. It's not because they care about the Egyptians. It's because of Egypt controls that region and helps the United States have a military presence there. There are many military bases in Egypt, and then that helps them. It helps the United States protect. It helps the United States protect Israel and control the Middle East. So that's why Egypt is very important. Egypt is very important to the United States, and that's why the United States can do anything to help Egypt, right? Like even if you go back with the TPLF uprising and trying to topple the legitimately elected government, it's all related to the Egypt Grand Renaissance Dam. So they tried their dictatorship, it didn't work. They tried their diplomacy, it didn't work. They tried war, it didn't work. Now they're trying to hack and destroy the Grand Renaissance Dam. But like that one didn't work. So what are your thoughts on that?
It's okay. I'm gonna be totally honest here. It's really a tricky one for me because I consider myself a Pan-African. And when I'm constantly getting information about one African country, which is Egypt, but yeah, people also have debates about that and them claiming that like they're Arab, they're more close to the Arab world than they are to Africa, but it doesn't change the fact that they're still in Africa. So for me, it doesn't change the fact that they are in Africa, even though I don't know how the percentage, how many of them do not believe they're African, but they are in Africa. So for me, it's like I get so worked up and I'm like, but will I do any good by, saying Egypt did this? It's the truth. I need to talk about it. But, I feel guilty is what I'm trying to say, because I feel like I'm dividing. I feel like I'm not really working on uniting when I'm pointing fingers. But if it's the fact, I am going to talk about it. If this is the truth, we are going to talk about it. And Egypt has been shady for a bit now. Hopefully we can work it out, because it's not going to serve us, right? It just will not serve us. And I'm so proud of Ethiopians, to be honest, for building this dam. There was a lot of pressure, Michael. Like, I'm sure since you are reporting, you've seen the pressure.
Assassinations, dramas.
Blowing up. Like they were, so many things that went on. But our government, thankfully, like them or not, hate them or not, in this case, they said, no, this is going to help the future generation. And this is not just this government, Haile Selassie, King Haile Selassie came up with a plan. It was a vision. From there, Meles Zenawi, the next after Derg, he tried to do something about it. Now, this government, President, Prime Minister Abiy's government is the one that started it, but still, it's a whole legacy. So we can't just give it to this government, but we can definitely say that it started and it opened and it started generating now for sure. And it's just the kind of hell we saw. It was incredible. So now when there's a cyber attack, obviously people are going to have questions. People are going to be like, wait a minute, who is going to benefit the most from this? And I'm so glad that they were able to, at least for now, from what we've heard, they were able to contain it. So hopefully they up their cybersecurity and make sure that this dam continues support. Like, this dam is going to help millions of Ethiopians. And it's not something we can overlook. This is going to change lives for sure. And
it's going to help Kenyans, because we recently did a news that Kenya is planning to buy electricity from Ethiopia.
Working with Ethiopia, yes.
Going to help Tanzania. Tanzania buys electricity from Kenya. Right? Like you mentioned about how Egypt, they don't think they are Africans, right? if you want to know how African Egypt is, right? This is it. There's the like pride, like, oh, we are Arabs or what. If you want to know how African Egypt is, from these deals, these trade deals, like the COMESA trade deal, the African Continental Free Trade Deal, the ones that have to do with trade and making money and exporting of goods. Which is always the first country to sign and ratify those deals.
It's Egypt.
Because money doesn't care if you're from Africa, if you're Arab. So that's how know Egypt is Africa. Like they pretend they're not, but when it matters, they're.
And to be fair, they are, okay? They are African. Yes, the Arabs conquered them, right? But initially, they were Africans. Just because the Arabs conquered you, just don't become Arabic. How does that make sense?
And there's something people don't know. There's a huge Nubian Egyptian community, right? They're usually being sidelined, like some of them are being oppressed. They're usually on the southern side, but there's a huge Nubian, like Egyptian Nubian community that don't look any different from Ethiopians, don't look any different from Somalis, right? They're not the typical Arab that you see in the north, Cairo, right? Because Egypt is a huge country, and majority of the development is just there at the Suez Canal, there in Cairo, there like at the end of the Nile. But going down the desert, there's so many Nubian Egyptian communities over there. So for me, when I always mention Egypt, I mostly talk about the Nubians and as Egyptians, right?
And even like the huge empire, the Egyptian empire, the pharaohs and the what do they call the kings and queens? There's an actual evidence that shows the structure of the pharaoh. It's all like our nose, it's Nubian. It's not the white or like the Arab that they want to claim.
And not even mixed, like they like how to portray Egypt was a cosmopolitan community. No, they were darker than you and me. Because they're mostly from the Sudan, right? The Nubians from Sudan, so they were
exactly. They were pure, if anything.
So that's just Western supremacy trying to change facts of history, which we've done so many videos on, right? So like with that, let's hope the guard will be safe, the Grand Renaissance Dam will be safe, and because I'm sure this is a first of many attacks they'll receive. So So I really hope they'll be safe. So let's go to the next one.
This one. I'm telling you, fam, you should be sitting, because after I tell you this story, you're gonna be pissed. Okay. This story comes from South Africa, and this white South African 77-year-old man shot a black woman while she was fishing, and when he was asked why, he claims that he mistook her for a hippo.
What?
Just internalize that. This farmer shot a black woman while she's fishing, and he claims he's in court. When he was questioned, he's like, I thought it was a hippo. For me, like, we all can agree, hippos and human beings, first of all, it doesn't matter how big you are, okay, how plus size you are, you cannot be the size of a hippo, okay? Secondly, fishing person and a hippo in his forelegs. Thirdly, the lady, I'm pretty sure, was wearing clothing. Okay, which hippo does he know that is wearing a clothing? Like, he shot her, and on top of that, he's insulting her. Not just her, the whole black race. I take this as an insult. After you shoot someone, you say you thought it was a hippo. It gets on my nerves so much. This is not the first story. A few years ago, a white South African farmer shot his own worker, and when he was asked, same situation, when he was asked what happened, he said, I thought it was a monkey. So at this point, you can tell that it is a pattern. They're not only shooting and killing them. They're disrespecting them on purpose. Like, I don't have any other explanation. So how do they expect Black South Africans to coexist with the settlers when they're being treated this way?
Definitely. So this is it. Things like this has been happening in South Africa so many times. Even these days, it's better because it's happening less. But during apartheid, like there's, I think, a previous episode, I was telling you about Elon Musk, right? And then his father, right? Yeah. His father did the same thing. He shot 2 people trying to enter his house, right? But people, like, you can say they were thieves and stuff, right? But I think the story is that he went and pursued them and he shot them. And I'm sure, allegedly, that's what he said. But white people shooting Africans just because they pass the land is something that happens a lot in South Africa. And that's why I always believe that South Africa got partial independence during like Mandela, right? And I think they'll get full independence when Julius Malema finally becomes the president of South Africa.
I hope so. At this point, I don't know why they're not voting for him.
He'll like he said it clearly in especially when he was in like when they tried to sue Africa, tried to sue him, I think for like I think defamation or something, right? He said it very clearly. Like when he's president, now they'll have something to worry about, right? Like he's saying now, like maybe I'll paraphrase. He says he's he's a member of parliament, he's head of the EFF. They're worried and scared about him. He told them blankly. He said, when I become president, you would have something to fear. So you better just leave before that happens. So for me, when it comes to things like that in South Africa, it's so sad. There's nothing we can do until Julius Malema is voted president, because the ANC is just a puppet, a puppet government.
I have a question for you. As much as we want to see Julius Malema in power, do you think we'll see that anytime soon with the way he's speaking? You don't think the whites, the powerful ones, would make sure that he doesn't, because they have everything to lose.
They've tried. He's received numerous assassination attempts. These days even walks around with multiple bodyguards, because like what MP walks around with multiple bodyguards? Like he hires a firm to protect him. He's had many attempts on his life. They tell him directly, like the richest man in I think the second richest man in Africa, like is actively sponsors his competitors, like with so much money to get rid of him, right? So that's why I say the ANC is just like a puppet government, because they work for money. And in South Africa, the white minority have all the money, so the ANC will always policies for the people who pay them.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. Even in this story, the white South African 77-year-old guy I told you, in court, it was the EFF that went to court to make sure that he doesn't get bail. You think the government spoke up?
No. I mean, they can't. He's probably a donor.
Yeah, he's a farmer. He's 77. He probably has a shitload of money. But yeah.
So
I get that.
Like this is what will happen. Malema will not become president in the next election or the other one, but he'll eventually become president, because his party is actually doing extremely well for a party that was formed a couple of years ago. I think the FF is less than 5 years old. Correct me if I'm wrong. If there's anybody from the comments from South Africa, I think the FF is like less than 5 years old, and it's like the third most populous party. It's the ANC, the Democratic DA Democratic Alliance, right? Which is just like a white party, right? Yeah. And then now the EFF. So just a couple of times. Give him, I think, a decade, hopefully, but 2 decades for sure.
He's alive.
He will.
Yeah.
He will.
And I hope he really protects himself, because it's not just about hiring bodyguards, but they have a way of reaching you with the people that are really close to you. So I hope he surrounds himself with people that are for the movement.
But like for me, I'm really hopeful he's the only man who can change South Africa. So at least there's hope. Like all those stories, if they make you like sad or upset, just know in the future there'll be somebody who'll get justice for all those people who've been oppressed in South Africa.
And yeah, and also I'm sure he will influence a lot. He is influencing a lot of people, and I'm sure he'll mentor. You know, even if he's not the president, he will for sure groom that person to becoming the leader that South Africa needs.
Like, and I think the EFF chapters in 13 African countries already and growing. So it's just not changing the minds of young South Africans. It's also spreading his message across the continent.
Yeah.
But like, I think the 13 last time I checked, but maybe there are more. So at least now there's that hope at the end of the tunnel. Let's see if it pans like it pans out. So so let's go to the next story. By the way, let's do a recap. Maybe let's greet all the new people who've joined. Thank you for joining our Africa podcast show, and we really appreciate you guys for commenting, sending us supers, sending us donations. We really appreciate you guys, and please continue the conversation. And soon, once we work out, we can invite you guys to talk about some news, or if somebody is brave enough to join us today at the end of the show, we will send you a link so you can write in the comments.
I look forward.
And how we can reach you. Okay, so let's continue with our next story.
Okay.
So Kenyans recently sent a petition, like I always like to call it a call out to the Prince William and the royal family over eviction they did during the colonization, right? So they were like, these royal tours that you guys do are useless, and no person in Africa needs it, no person in the Caribbean needs it. We need an apology tour. Like, you should go to all these countries begging and giving reparations to what you've done, returning all the wealth you've stolen. So, like, I think this idea of glorifying the royal family, I'm glad that that people are catching on. Like remember how when there's a wedding, even Africans are excited about it, right? And for me, like, it's how the media lets people, they make it to be a big deal. But for me, how can you celebrate the wedding of your oppressor, the person who stole from you, the person who colonized you? So like, it always ceases to like just shock me, the things that these guys get away with. So the royal family is more like we should, like, for me, I would personally call them a mercenary family, right? Or a criminal family. They should stop these tours they do, unless it's apology tours, right? And plus reparations. You just don't come empty-handed apologizing. So in this petition, they are saying they need their land back. They need the money that they've lost in that land over over time. And the same thing happened in Jamaica also, right? Where people are like, okay, why are these guys here? Like nobody cares anymore about your fancy royal family thing, right? Because it's established, it's a racist family, and all their wealth is from murder, theft. So why are we celebrating that family?
I agree, and I also like how when they were requesting, the letter included like a jab, I would say. They said, since we're writing to you, Prince William, because you said Kenya is your favorite, or something like that. You saw that they were saying that Kenya is your favorite, and it's not just him. I believe even Queen Elizabeth, I heard something like that, because she was officially a queen when she was in Kenya. Am I right? Something like that. And like, it's just the idea really made me cringe, because how can you say you're my favorite colony? Like, from all the people I've conquered, Kenya is my favorite. Like, how do you even say that with a straight face? And I'm glad the Kenyans, that clan, decided to ask for reparation, apology, and I love to see it. It's not just in Kenya. We've seen in Jamaica. We've seen, I forget the Caribbean island that demanded apology and reparation.
Barbados, I think.
Okay, so everyone slowly but surely is getting up. Namibia has been doing it for a while. They've been even taking them to court, and when they gave them a few millions of dollars, they were like, no, this is not enough, and they rejected it. So we're slowly but surely getting the confidence to ask what's rightfully ours, and we can't be mad at that. That's a good movement, I think.
So what's next for you?
Okay, so next I would like for us to talk about, this comes from Malawi, and a nurse that was arrested for insulting the Malawian president, Lazarus Chakwera. And let me just put it together for you, just like the summary is, this girl, this nurse, she was 38, 39, I think she's 38 years old. There was this forum on WhatsApp, and they're talking about their country's economy and how everything is going. And this lady decided to say, they didn't specifically tell us what the insult is, but she started talking about the president and how the economy is not growing. Guess what? She was arrested for speaking up against the government. And I was like, oh, what? Are we going back in time? Are you insane? I get that there, like, the boundary is hard, like to differentiate between, like, let's say a speech that will entice violence versus just somebody criticizing a government and speaking their mind like that. She has every right. She's also a Malawian. So I thought it was just really sad, because when this president took power, I'm sure he has his good side and bad side. He's a human being. Nobody's perfect. But I remember how much hype there was behind him. Like, oh my God, this guy is going to change everything for us and blah, blah. Just a few months later, he hired like half of his family members in like positions in leadership in government. And so it's really, really sad to see this. You cheer them when they're doing well, and then you see them just really doing the worst thing ever. You won't expect a leader to do. So now for her to be arrested because she criticized the leader, it just it doesn't sit well with me. What are your thoughts on this?
Like for me, that guy wasn't like even
You're not
excited.
sold?
Oh, no, because
Really?
he's such a Western puppet. Like you can always definitely, like, even if you look at his background, how he rose to power, he's those people that the West puts in power, and he can do whatever he wants. He can arrest that lady, he can kill that lady. They'll never want him out of power. He'll never get sanctions. He'll never, he'll be like a good example. He'll be like a Museveni, right? I've ever wondered why, like, after all those years, nobody ever in the West ever bothers with Museveni.
Yeah, nobody bugs Museveni.
He gets away with everything because, like, Museveni does his job. He's a good employee of America. He's a good employee of the UK. He's a good employee of the people who control this world, right? He does his job well. Those people, they don't care if you kill everybody in your country, as long as you do your job well, like you do what you are done there for. So the president of Malawi, he can get away with these things. He can do whatever he wants because he is there for a purpose, right? But somebody like the Prime Minister Abiy, somebody who they don't want, even if he says, hey, I'm putting on a military, like my military outfit as a lieutenant, it's like the end of the world. It's like, oh man, no. So because he does not serve the powers.
I agree. It's sad.
I think it was dead on arrival for him. Just like you said, the good thing, like how I can always fairly judge these African leaders and African presidents is that I listen to so many speeches, right? So many. Before we do one African leadership series, or we do Candid Africa, right? For every one that we do, I've listened to like maybe 20 speeches of different leaders, different instances. So based on how you hear somebody talk, you can instantly just know, yep, puppet, got there by accident, doesn't know what he's doing. like you can always gauge these people. So for him,
Oh my goodness.
in my gaugeometer, like definitely puppet, like puppet 101. So he's probably reaping the fruits of his betrayal of his people. So yeah, so I'm sure there'll be more. There'll be more instances of things like that in Mali. Oh, sorry,
It sucks.
in Malawi.
Malawi. Yeah, it's really, it sucks. Now
The
since
same also, as a quick one, the same one also goes for the Zambian President Hichilema, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same story. They are slowly.
Same.
Yeah, same. Definitely. Just listen to that guy talk. Like a few speeches. We've I think we've only done one speech of him where he was being inaugurated, and he was before he was even made president when he won, right? Listen to him talk after he's president. Completely different guy. So yeah, and I think he was just put there to get rid of the Chinese influence, right? Because China has a really big hold on Zambia, right? And I think the Americans were getting scared, so they had to put a more Western-leaning leader. So him is there, and see, wasn't he the first one to betray Ethiopia when they were removing their diplomats? Yeah. Then afterwards, he received a 10 million donation for some aid thing or something. Yeah. So
I hope it was worth it.
I'm sure they all stole it, so it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, it is. I'm sure with everything.
It didn't help anybody. I'm sure. Yeah,
I'm sure.
So
Speaking about bad leadership, I want to touch on this since we're on bad leadership, and we'll go on to next. I don't know if you heard this, but a Nigerian woman put herself and her daughter up for adoption, and she blames the hardship on President Buhari's government administration and how she was not able to feed her family. So she took to social media, to Twitter, and she said, help, like anybody that can adopt me and my daughter, I'll do anything for you for free, clean your house, cook for you, just make sure she goes to school and make sure to feed my mom. That's all I need. And it went viral. And this really highlights what bad leadership does to the people, right? Like we only look at it from, ooh, they stole, ooh, but like on the ground, everybody's life is affected because of that bad leader. Or let's say, okay, I was trying to be nice, but like that leader that's not doing the right thing in that country, it's a ripple effect. It's going to affect everyone. And imagine being a mom and just saying, okay, like since I'm not even getting a job, I'll say I'll work for free as long as you take me in with my daughter. It just really broke my heart. And this shows you that we need to do something about these so-called leaders, where they're only leading us to hell, right?
Yeah. So for me, when it comes for things like people saying the government this, the government that, I always encourage them to take my philosophy of way of thinking this, right? For me, I've always been an anarchist, right? So anarchy has been corrupted, especially by the royals, right? Because that's where it rose up. Anarchy means simply without government, right? But that's the original meaning of the word anarchy, without government. But in pop culture in these days, when I say anarchy, what does it mean for you?
Somebody that doesn't want any law, rule, I'll do whatever
right?
he wants.
They ban everything, right? So the word was corrupted because back then the governments were so afraid of it, so they had to destroy the word. So anarchy means a society without a central government, right? Meaning, you don't need these leaders to control you or tell you or take your resources then distribute it, right? So it's more of how African societies used to be long ago, where things were a family, a clan, a village, right? So a village is sustaining, it works and trades with another village, like that. Things things they're more like small entities. So there's no country per se, because Africans didn't Africa didn't have countries. right? Country, the word country, concept of borders and country is such a, like it's a Western concept. They came, they gave us those countries. Africa wasn't divided like that. A Maasai would start the year in Kenya, finish the year in Tanzania, and life was okay because they didn't have borders. These artificial borders, they like their lifestyle determined their the border, right? So a Maasai society is like you can say it's a government, like it had its own hierarchy of ruling, and it was self-contained. They coordinated, they worked together with the Kikuyu community, right? But there wasn't a person ahead who's like, oh, I'm in charge of the Kikuyu, of the Maasai, until the colonialists came and they imposed this type of political system on them, right? So for me, now coming back to today, instead of people thinking that there's this government that's supposed to be doing this and this, just cut off that dream. A government's job is just to enrich itself and to protect itself. That's the number one. That's this concept of government and leadership. Protect itself to stay more in power and be rich while you're doing so. Like every government in the world, the United States, right? That's why the whole concept of governments for me, like it really doesn't make sense, right? So for me, it's like you work, like that lady should talk to, she should go to a community, talk to her. She said, I have this problem, and slowly build from there. Like if the small community cannot help her, like it goes on, but expecting people who steal from you.
But to be fair, she went to the community of Twitter. She didn't necessarily go to the government. She talked about the government, but she still went to the people because I'm sure she didn't expect anything from the government.
And guess what? I'm sure, like maybe you'd have to follow up that story. She got some people donations or some GoFundMe, like through the community. Like say, so if people start thinking like that, these funny speeches. Oh, the government should build this road. The government should do what? Just get that fairy tale out of like I think your life would be way happy and way productive for you and your community if you stop expecting something from an entity that was made to steal from you.
See, Michael, I get that point for the average Joes, just me and you and stuff. But somebody needs to also expect more, demand more, and challenge. Otherwise, who will be in politics? Like, I mean, I get it, but right now the system is here to stay, whether we like it or not. Maybe hundreds of years ago it might change, but for now, that's what we got. So we might as well benefit the best way we can. So even though for us, I know I'll live happily. I'll share my thoughts. I'll talk about it with our people. But I'm hoping somebody that is watching me can like feel motivated that, in their heart, if they're interested in being a leader or being in politics, they can go ahead and do it. I have no desire. Like, I'm like you, but I'm just saying somebody needs to expect and somebody needs to demand. Otherwise, what's gonna happen to us?
Like for me, like my message is very grim. It's like like unless you want. I guess, and I've seen so many people like this. Young people, like they really want to go to leadership to change things, make things better. But because they enter the system and the system has been there for hundreds of years and it's so rigid, they just end up bending and they become those people they used to hate. Like think about it. Like every politician starts out with a good heart, with good motivation, right?
Not every, but most.
Like majority. Like
I can't say every. Everybody starts off with good intentions.
No. Man, there's some there's someone who knows the game. They're like, yep, who am I pretending? I'm here to steal and make money, right? And they go into politics and steal and make money. Guess what? Like I think I even applaud those ones who are there, because they know what they're doing, right? Yeah. But there are those naive ones who go like, I want to help everybody change, and then like you just like you slowly become your enemy or what you came here for. So for me, if there's somebody who wants to go into leadership, if there's somebody who wants to change the place where they live, it's like you start from you. They always say, start from you, start from your community, make your community a better place, right? See, for me, I always believe in like personal leadership, right? I cannot expect a person who's never seen me in a White House to first of all tell me what to do, make up tell me what to do, or feed my family, or what, right? Like that dream for me, it ended, right? So you should have personal leadership, like you're responsible for your family, you're responsible for your community, where you live, right? You don't expect the government to come and clean up your neighborhood. You've got two hands. You can just talk to a few guys, do the cleaning like themselves. For me, but it's my idea is a long shot, and like unless maybe like in the future we move to Mars, maybe that can work, right?
I mean, I thought you don't like Elon Musk. How will you go?
No. You see, Mars does not belong to Elon Musk. There's even
that's true. No, I'm saying at the moment he's the one that I'm aware of that is running that project.
So there's even there's a UN treaty that every country has signed. That no country, no government on Earth owns anything like outside the Earth.
Outside of Earth, that's good.
So you can go to the moon and say it's yours. So if you go to the moon, you can have your own country or what. Like it doesn't belong to anybody, right? No, China cannot say the moon belongs to us. Yeah. So maybe a system like that, like just people who live in communities. Like as you said, your dream is to live in a far off area off the grid, right? But if you do that, you still need a community, right? You need someone to bring you milk. You need So for me, that's even for me, that's my ideal kind of living place, right? You don't need a place where you're expecting these roads to be built by the government. But as I said, that's way even like it's almost impossible or way off in the future that we can live like that.
Yeah, we will hope. And as you said, it's a personal journey. Like leadership is first, you need to conquer yourself, right? You need to be able to be disciplined yourself. That's a struggle, that's not easy at all. Once you feel like you're getting it, then you can extend your hands to your family members, then your community, society. And I think that will change and that can end up getting us that government or like that system that you think is going to work, but it starts from yourself.
Like so on that, so now this is everybody to do homework, right? Research the concept of anarchy as government. This one.
Let me write it down.
We've been tricked. There's only socialism, communism, or capitalism, right? As a form to govern or anything. Like read up Anarchy. That's it's such a different system of governing where these small states that have anarchy work together, but don't combine to be like, hey, now we control all. Like everybody at the end of the day has their individuality. Everybody make up their own rules. Like of course, the basic rules, right? Freedom is not freedom if the next guy has the freedom to kill you, right? You also have the freedom of life, right? So when you come, especially when you start telling anybody about anarchy, they think, chaos, people will murder each other. No, they are in this world, even lions known to just go and kill animals in their pride, the rules, the social rules in every living organism, right? Yeah. So this anarchy, there's so many versions and hybrids of how a whole country, not because anarchy countries wouldn't exist. A whole let's say a group of 1 million people or 2 million people can live harmoniously in a system that works with an anarchy, where every think about it, your small town. It's its own, it takes care of its own crimes, it takes care of its own all cleaning up, it takes care of its own feeding its people farms. How productive will maybe the 5,000 communities like that. Everybody has everything, and if this one is lacking, there's always trade. There's always working together. If there's if there's a bigger problem that needs more than 5 or 10 states, there's a system where you can engage that like you guys come together, right? Let's say for a natural disaster, there's this area that there's a flood or hurricane. There's a way that a system that has Anarchy can call on the others, right? They come, they help, aid, like that. But this whole concept of there's a natural disaster, then there's just one person or one minister who's like in charge of signing or deploying people. Like I think, like the way things work. That's why, like every time I hear people complaining about governments and the leadership, and I don't get surprised because it was never meant to work for us. Like the whole system is made to work for them, right? Yeah. So yeah. So maybe in the homework.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it. I've never, ever thought about that. So I'll need to think about it and do my research because it sounds crazy in my head, and also like maybe might work. So I'll because it sounds crazy. You admit, right? Like for people that never thought about it.
And this is the thing. It's crazy and it's complex, right? Like it's like a good example. Think about it like how the internet works, right? The internet is kind of like an anarchy system, right? Because there's no one government that says we can shut off the internet, right? Right? Like I think the internet was made by just universities, different universities, that they wanted to share like the research papers and what. So they created a network. So you know how the internet started? These university students wanting to.
No.
So let me tell maybe a short history about the internet work. So there were these scientists in Switzerland, in Sun. They wanted to coordinate with other scientists who are doing like complicated stuff like particle physics, right? And sending documents through mail, like through air, like you're in Switzerland or you're in the UK, you're sending things to the United States. Used to take like weeks, months. So they came up with a way of how they would link their computers. So like if you have files, you can just send it to another university, right? So the universities started becoming very productive. Then the US government and the military were like, hey, these guys are very like this system works. Then they expanded on it, right? So like even right now, if you wrote who made the internet or discovered the internet, like I think it's CERN. CERN. It's a research. It's a research lab in Switzerland. They get the credit for because like I think one scientist is one who proposed the idea of how to share. So after that, slowly other networks and other servers started getting made, right? And through things like Twitter, through things like YouTube, it enables us to come together, share information. So think about it. This states that work with use Anarchy to govern themselves. Think of them like these networks, right? So all of a sudden, if we want to watch videos, we can share, because YouTube does not put all the videos in one stuff. It's all over the world. Right. So if you want the system to work together, it can, but you need a complex way of allowing it to work together in a seamless way, right? So rather than one person or one entity controlling like a billion people, like 500 million entities controlling 500 million other entities. So it's a very complex system. It can work if it's for me. I think it can only work if there's a fresh start. That's why I say like I was imagining like Mars, right? Like it can't you'll fight the Chinese with their communism, you'll fight the Americans with their capitalism, you'll fight like it's so hard to undo all the systems we use now. So for me, I think the only hope for it is a clean slate.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody has their homework, including me. We'll see. We'll see if they're going to come into your side.
And I hope I convert a few people to think about Anarchy and
maybe
becoming
tell us. Tell us if anybody's interested or is sold on what Michael just told us when with Anarchy and the government situation. Let us know. Yes, or no. Yeah.
So
Let's go to the next topic. Yours.
So now we'll talk about Rwanda, and they're still on the UK deal. So like we've talked about this numerous times, everybody's like, what's happening to Kagame? So to catch up with the people who don't know what's going on, Rwanda made a deal with the UK government that it will start taking in the refugees that the UK rejects for a certain amount of money. Like, of course, the UK government is paying Rwanda. So in this speech where Kagame is explaining, he's like, hey guys, this is what's happening. It's not like we are buying and selling Africans. And then he goes on to explain that they're actually buying and selling Africans in the speech. So like it really baffles my mind why somebody like Kagame would do this and stick with this. Kenyans, the Kenyan government didn't even want to talk about that, right? And think about, like, Kenya, I think, is the country that has the largest refugee camp in the world, Kakuma.
I would believe so. There are so many, even Ethiopians, like that's their favorite place to be refugees.
So a country that has helped so many refugees, right? A country that and then Kenya doesn't get so much money from the UN for hosting all these refugees, right? Yeah. And the country that's like has done this refugee thing for decades was like, this deal looks fishy. We are not interested, right? Rwanda coming in and being like the saviors. Oh, we'll take these refugees. So and then there's something that he said that really shocked me. He was like, oh no, the UK government is not rejecting every refugee. They'll pick and choose. Then the ones that they don't want, they'll send them to Rwanda, right? So how racist could that be? You're like, you're white, you're Ukrainian, enter. Hey, you Africans, go to Rwanda. You people from Afghanistan, you're sketchy, go to Rwanda. So it baffles my mind that somebody like Kagame, like who I've respected and we've done so many positive coverage about him, took this deal and is still pushing on regardless of backlash, right? And he's received backlash. Even he came out and talked about it. He's like, oh, all this controversy, it's a misunderstanding. Then he goes on and explains the misunderstanding exactly how like it was, right? So that one. That's actually another thing I don't understand about why he's doing this. How eventually, like, there's this saying, every hero, like, eventually turns out to be to be the villain. Like, if you're in power long enough, you just turn out to be the people that you've been fighting against. So I think maybe for Kagame, it's time he closes his boots before he starts. He retires before he starts undoing his legacy, right?
That would suck. Because a lot of people really like the way he moves. So the next one is from me. If you don't have any topics, the last one would probably be the kind of entertainment, but it's really not. But yeah, if there's any from your side, just
like I've got the Mali. Wait. Before that, I've got one more important one. So Harvard University is going to pay reparations to like African American communities it enslaved during its tenure and people it took land from, like that. So it was like, at least that's a positive news coming from these institutions who pretend
they care.
No. Then like you see, like these places that they just pretend they got their success out of nowhere, like like we're the royal family. We were always this rich. No, you stole all those, mostly from Africa and India, right? We are like we are Harvard, or we are Cambridge, or we are what? Like we're just this institution rich in knowledge. All those things are mostly stolen or appropriated from other cultures. So it's good of Harvard to step up and be like, okay, our presidents owned slaves. Our president did horrible things. This is what you guys are owed. Here it is. We are not a perfect institution. So I think every institution in the like every company, every institution in the United States that benefited from slavery, and like in Europe that benefited from colonialism and war, things like Volkswagen, things like there's so many companies that benefited from this pillaging. Yeah, so it's time for them to step up and start paying reparations, or at least the bare minimum, apologizing or acknowledging them.
Yeah. But the thing is, they won't apologize first, because if they apologize, that means, what's next? Like, you need to give reparations. So if they're not about that life, they're not gonna apologize, right? We've seen that. No, you have another one.
Let's see. Yeah. So let's see who else takes up the the balls to come out and apologize and pay reparation.
Yeah.
So for me, there's also one that Nigeria. There's this presidential candidate for next year's election. I think it's this year. No, I think it's next year. That wants to change the name Nigeria to a more local name. Like it should be called. Like I forgot that name, but it needs something, right? Yeah. So like, what's your take on countries changing their names to remove their colonial labeling that was imposed on them?
You know what? For me, if that name was given by the colonizers, and the people feel like, we had an identity and we had a name before you guys came and changed it, and they feel strongly about it, I am for that, because you also should really understand, when you're naming something, you're stating ownership. You're saying, I own this, right? You name your kids, you name the things that belong to you. It has power when you're naming something. So if they want to take away that power and say that we want to name our country in a way where that represents us well, and it won't be associated with the colonizers, well, I'm for it. Why not change it, as long as all the people agree, at least the majority of them, and they pick the name that they want as a country? Perfect, go for it.
Yeah. Me too. Like, I think, and also, like, it should go deeper than that. Things like Victoria, I don't know, like Albert, all those things should be changed. Like, who the hell is Victoria? Right? Yeah. So and for me today, my fun topic is an update of the Mali lady who gave birth to nine children. There's an update on her. All the kids are perfectly okay. They're still in Morocco, being looked at and monitored. But the kids are healthy. They're of normal weight and health, and she still has the world record for the woman who has the most babies. Yeah. Not considering the fake South African one, and also the fake Nigerian one.
You remember? Yeah, I remember the South African one. She faked. Even her husband came out and he's like, she's lying. Yeah. You remember? It was a whole drama. Yeah. She lied. She lied.
So at least good for the Malian, and thank God children are doing good.
It's just miraculous, in my opinion, carrying 9 babies at once. Do you know how hard it is to carry one? Now you carry 9 at once and push them out. Oh God, like, that lady is a hero. I'm glad she's in Guinness World Record. I'm glad she's there. She deserves it, really, really.
And at least I think they're getting also financial help and free medical from the Moroccan hospitals. So at least that's a
and they said people also started donating, because how do you take care of 9 babies? She was expecting a second child, because I think they had one child before the 9 kids.
Yeah.
So, like, imagine you have to feed them, change them. Oh my God. I
I'm sure
don't
it's
know how
expensive.
they do it.
I'm sure like it's expensive taking care of one child. So imagine 9
Yes,
at once.
9 and at once. It's
So for us,
insane.
like I've got 9 brothers and sisters, right? So I'm trying to imagine if all of us were there at once, right?
Came
Because
together.
our ages are so like so spaced out, like super like wide. You know, you see it's possible, right?
Wow.
But for that one, I can just imagine like birthdays, school,
Wow.
universities. You know how expensive universities
Wow.
is. Can
Oh
you
my
imagine?
God. Even until university,
Yeah.
kids are expensive. My goodness. So yeah, I'm still surprised to find out that you are 9, your siblings, and
Yes,
you
yeah,
like
yeah.
what?
Like no, 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 no,
9?
no, no. No, we're actually 10 because I don't count myself. So we're actually 10 in total. But I've got
Oh
nine
my
brothers.
goodness, that's incredible. Oh, well done, Mama. She respect. Yeah. Wow. But it's nice. Like I
Yeah,
don't know. There's something about having a big family that's exciting. But thinking about you birthing 10 children is just a turn off a little bit. Yeah.
time,
Yeah. So
like
yeah.
for next week, we should talk about that. Big families, small families, and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
so there's also this thing. Do you remember in the like I think in the like 2000s where like the West were like trying Africans to do family planning
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
and all that
Yeah.
and
They're still doing it.
I guess what there's a scientific consensus that based on how at the rate of how the world is depopulating in the
Mm-hmm.
next 100 years, our population might be at max 3 billion because people are not getting enough kids. So there's actually people like
What?
scientists who, so scientists and
How
economists are
though?
actually, yeah, because I think about it, like in most European countries, their birth rate is in the minus.
Yeah.
Japan in the
Okay.
right. Now,
Okay.
America, it's stagnating. So the
Okay.
only country, sorry, the only region that's increasing in population is Africa. All the other regions are
Yeah.
slowing down somewhere in
Okay.
the minus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they do the projections and the future projections. So over time, right now we're at 7 billion. We'll reach a peak of 9 billion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they're just go down till like 3 billion. And people are saying if the trends continue of like how these generations are continuing of people wanting more experience and less getting less families, like
No,
it's
no, no.
actually a risk to humanity. Like we might just
Now that
end up.
you said that, okay, now that you said, I was wondering how in the world will we go back to 3 billion? But like now that you're saying that, a lot of women are choosing to not
Yeah,
marry at a very young age,
yeah.
choose their careers. And now there's that same-sex thing that doesn't produce kids. And yeah, I can see that happening. But I don't know if I can see Africans, okay, not maybe urbanized, but like they're still like even in Ethiopia, I would say what is it 80% of people live in rural areas, not
Yeah, yeah,
urban areas. So those people are still gonna take time to catch up, I feel like,
yeah.
to the trend.
And the 9 million bump, that all will mostly come from 2 billion to 9 billion. That will most likely come
Africa.
from Africa alone. So at that point, Africa will also like be developed in a way that
Yeah,
people have more choices and
yeah,
getting a kid is like a choice,
yeah,
like, oh, you can do it anytime, or
yeah,
you're okay with
yeah,
just
yeah,
one, like having one kid.
yeah.
So now that it will come like it will collapse. So
Wow. Never
like
thought.
some
Then I have a question for you. If this is a fact that they know, how come they're worried? Like the Bill Gates, like why are they so worried that population will overwhelm the earth and all that stuff that they like to just talk
like
about?
racism, like fear of the like what you don't know. But the science is telling them another thing, and the people in the know are worried, right? Like think about it. Even most like I think in Denmark, you actually
Mm.
paid like I think like if you just conceive a baby, you're paid like $5,000 just for being pregnant, and then another certain amount for carrying the baby, and the baby
Mm.
is taken care of from childhood till
Mm.
university. Like say they're giving
Ugh.
people so much
Yeah,
incentives to encourage
yeah,
people to
yeah.
to reproduce, but like just do do some research, check out the projections, future projections, and the people who called out wolf, like you're saying, people who call out wolf, when you start there's this story of a kid who was saying there's a wolf, then people in the village, there's no wolf,
cry
again,
wolf,
wolf.
something, yeah. That cried wolf story.
So like when you start scaring people of something, so when the wolf actually came, nobody came to help the kid, right? So now these people, the Bill Gates and these Western countries, they've been scaring people. Oh, we're going to be overpopulated. We're going to be overpopulated, right? So when the opposite is happening, that's when they're scared. But nobody still believes them. These countries are still depopulating, right? And eventually, there's also another study that in 200, 300 years, everybody will be a mix of African, Indian, and Chinese. Just that.
Really?
The rest, everybody else will get drowned out in the genetic pool. Yeah. A good example. Like let's talk about a bit about more genetics, right? So, have you ever noticed why animals like lions, buffaloes, wildebeest all tend to look so much alike?
They do?
Yeah, they do. No, like lions. Yeah? Just take lions, right?
Oh, all of the lions themselves, not lions with buffaloes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're attacked by 6 lions, right? Then you survive. Then tomorrow you're taken to a lineup. Then you identify which lions. And, they all look like lions, right? And this lion has a bigger head or this mark. Yeah, like it's called genetic parity, where after so many generations and so much interbreeding, the species tends to look alike, right?
Okay.
So over time, and the traits that are kept are the traits that are in the most populous people. So like the dark skinned, right?
Wow.
Yeah, like the curly hair. So like brown eyes, right? That's why there are more people with brown eyes than blue eyes, and it will never change, right? Yeah. So over time, they made a digital projection of how people in the future will look like, right? So they mostly look more like Ethiopians, roughly curly hair, like a bit light skin, but not still African, like African features, like that. So that will be the trend going forward.
I'm sure that scares them a lot. Like mixing with us is like, oh.
So if you're a white supremacist and the future is telling you'll be dissolved, your existence will be dissolved. Yeah. So now that's why you should always know the fight is larger than just Africa as a continent and the rest. Yeah. So so that's a little side note on the current, but I will advise with everybody. I'm not a genius, so I don't know everything. So just go research for yourself. Check out the population projections and what they're saying about how the planet will eventually depopulate, not the other way around. People always be like, oh, there'll be resources.
Yeah.
No. It will be actually your dream of a deserted serene place is just becoming better and better over time, because there'll be so much land.
That's incredible to find out. This is me in real time finding out.
So this is a very hard analogy for people who are not in the United States, right? Or don't know. You've heard of the Grand Canyon, right?
Yeah. In America.
So everybody, everybody on this planet, can fit in the Grand Canyon with room to walk.
Really?
You can take everybody on this planet, right? Every human being, and fit inside the Grand Canyon with room to walk, not as in packed like sausages. We can all walk around there and Yeah, there's so many experiments
Wow.
and studies. Like the whole world, we can easily live in Australia.
Yeah. But
Yes.
this is interesting. I don't know how to pronounce it. Gaming said, when Gail, you did a video on this topic, and I left a comment saying France is scared of little Africa and France when Africans are about to outnumber native French. Like for me, I didn't. Now it's making sense. Maybe that's why they're
Yes.
scared. Me, I'm wondering like, why are you saying Africa is gonna culturally like destroy France or whatever? Like I was so confused. What is she talking about? Like nobody's colonizing you, so I guess she's talking about that.
Like we're calling it quick math. So maybe like there's this European countries keep so much data on their people. So maybe like in their health ministry, they're like white French people are giving birth in the negative. The African African migrants and Africans, people of African descent, but 4 times. So over time, like you do the math, and France is
Oh, poor thing. Now I get her worry.
So they fight, like no, it's really if politicians are starting to complain and cause problems. So that's why we should always take seriously these these new viruses in the new diseases, because like I don't want to be on the speculating side, because you know me, I'm always on the data and science, but like you never know, like what some of these things are meant to do, right?
But what we're gonna say is it didn't work for us. It might have been aimed at us, but look at us, we're still here.
Like yesterday, the World Health Organization did like a final report on COVID and like its total impact on lives. So they counted everybody who died from COVID, and they counted on everybody who died because of COVID. You know, dying of COVID is different because of COVID. Let's say you've got cancer or you've got diabetes, then you couldn't
but you still had it.
No. Let's say you couldn't go to the hospital because the hospitals were booked with people with COVID. So you end up dying with your treatable disease like pneumonia, malaria, because you couldn't access hospital.
Cold. Yeah, they write it as it is.
Because death because of COVID. So the total of the people who died of COVID and who died because of COVID was like 50 million. And they were saying, and in the report, the regions that were affected was North America, Europe, and South America, right? So like you guys, you can take a look of the report, and the economic devastation were also mostly felt on those continents. So everybody who was looking at Africa, the Bill Gates and Melinda Gates were saying Africans will just be on the streets. I always like reminding them, right? Their prediction turned on them, right?
Yep. Be careful what you wish for others, right? So now the last topic before, because we're running out of time. The last topic is, maybe after I'm done talking, you can show them the clip. It's depending how you look at it, you might laugh or you might get pissed. So just putting it out there. So this, okay, funny how we picked this for the light segment, but there was a pastor that wiped off a bride's makeup at the altar, and then he actually made the bridesmaid to scrape it off her, and he himself was just rubbing it off of her, and he was telling her bridesmaid to take off her nail polish. First, watch it, and we'll talk about it a little bit. Do you have it?
I got it.
Okay.
You want it with sound? Maybe the guy explains it nicely.
Do the wedding unless all of the makeup is removed, all of the acrylics are removed, and that they come in natural form. Tell me what y'all think about this. So this preacher told this bride and told the groom and the bridesmaid that he will not do the wedding unless all of the makeup is removed, all of the acrylics are removed, and that they come in natural form. Tell me what y'all think about this. So this
Okay,
preacher,
now that we're okay.
so
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me start first. Okay. I, let me start with a positive. I get beliefs, and I'll never tell someone to believe in what I believe in, right? And I get where the preacher is coming from. He's like, okay, be natural, you came here natural, just do it. I get the sentiment. But my thing is, if your religion doesn't allow it, you tell that person in advance so that they don't come with the makeup there. Like, to degrade this, for me, I just got really pissed watching this. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I'm like, that's her day, that's her wedding day. She got ready so that she can go ahead and get married on that day, and all the people are around, the guests are around, and he's wiping. He's not even doing it properly. There's a way to remove makeup. You use oil cleanser. For my ladies that are watching, you know what I'm talking about. You use oil cleanser, gel cleanser, and then micellar water. You wash it, and then you moisturize. Like, literally, this guy was wiping her face away, and it's just, it was alarming to me, because it's invading somebody's space. Yes, you're the preacher, maybe you're their spiritual father, but there's a way of doing it. There's a way that you teach your kids or the people that follow you to be in a certain way, if that's your belief. I just thought the way he did it was not right. What are your thoughts on this?
So for me, like we've just talked about anarchy and governments and people telling you what to do and how to live, or like what to worship. So for me, I always have a problem with people telling somebody how to live their own lives, right?
Yes.
If the woman wanted to put makeup, even if she wanted to get married in a sack, it's a personal choice, right? And as you said, it's his church. He has the responsibility to tell somebody. My belief is, I don't like makeup. I think it makes you become mad. Like whichever reason, crazy reason he'll come up with, right? He communicates that, so the other person knows. Okay, I'll find a pastor who, I'll go to a church with a pastor who has no problem with that. Like, that's simple, right? But when you are there and you're imposing your personal beliefs on somebody, that's where, like, for me, it's just like how can I say, like evil, right? Like, he's a pastor, but he's
yes.
Yeah, like he's hurting somebody else for his personal gain, and that's
exactly
the definition of evil, right? Doing harm to somebody for your benefit, right? So
and he is harming her in that moment. Imagine.
And like, like, I'm sure that's your special day, right?
And somebody's violating your space.
And for me, like in that clip, like you're seeing one problem, but for me, I'm seeing two problems, right? So people were all up in Will Smith for slapping Chris Rock for like making a silly joke, right? Now for me, I would have Will Smith the hell out of that pastor, like no problem. Like some like I can imagine somebody.
Violence is not always, is never the answer. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and he'll be praying for him. Okay. Let me say, it's bad saying like I'll do violence upon somebody.
Yeah,
but if that's my wife and it was my wedding, like I have a feeling somebody will really need prayers. Yeah, like prayers.
And I'm sure it's not you.
No, somebody will need prayer. So to be serious, like I think the husband should have protected the wife more, because that's the whole point of marriage. Like, you're in this together. You're like, hey, relax, stop, like turn off the cameras. Like, we're canceling the wedding. Let's go. Because they had to pay the pastor, right? This pastors. Like, it's mostly a business, right? They don't do weddings for free. Like, that's the pastor. Then you're paying somebody money, then they're embarrassing you. And when it comes to these African pastors, I call them African pastors because like anybody can just say I'm a pastor and come up with their own interpretation of things, right? I've read the Bible. I've closely read the Bible, right? I've studied the Bible. there's nowhere in the Bible that says having makeup is a sin or against God's will or and when it comes to makeup was originally an African like makeup was discovered in Africa. Africans wear makeup all the time. All the like look at all the communities. Like makeup is part of being African, right?
Yeah.
So if those people are like, oh, it's a Western makeup. No.
Yeah, it's not.
Decorating ourselves using art to beautify ourselves has been in our culture ever since, right? So and that's also like how cultures start. Like you get an identity. So makeup was used for that.
And I agree with you. I totally forgot about the husband, soon to be husband. He just stood there. But we also understand how when you see somebody as like a figure, like a preacher, like somebody above you, like to submit and all that stuff. But still, with that being said, even if it was a sin, my thing is, in their religion, in their belief, even if it was, the way he did it is not respectable. Like that's my thought on that. And I hope this girl is not psychologically scarred for life, because this really messed up her wedding. And it just I cringed when I watched it. But yeah, so this was today's podcast, fam. And anything to say, Michael?
Yeah. Like I'm afraid these things are getting longer and longer. Like one day will just be like for 5 hours. No.
I'm like, I look at the time and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Because we today we've had more topics because last week we had our live stream marathon. Oh yeah, and also a quick update on that. So far so good. We haven't gotten any copyright strikes from all those. So it's probably somebody at YouTube who listens to our videos and be like, don't you dare copyright any song in that video, right? Because as I said, we're going to do a video and expose those anthems that were caught. But so far so good. We'll keep a watch, but I really have a feeling our video has been whitelisted from any copyright, just to
I think
to
so, because they know.
for YouTube.
Yeah. I agree. Well, there you have it, fam. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed our conversation. It was fun. I learned a lot today, I would say, from you. And I have a bit of homework.
Yeah, and everybody in the chat also. Just like after we talk these things, like I always advise people, you think for yourself, right? Like do the research.
Am I the only one here? Michael? Am I the only one here, fam? Or is just me that is? Oh, okay, I was so confused. I'm like, what's happening?
So we have internet problems. Let's tell people goodbye before things.
Yes, somebody saying they got Mike. Oh, no, they didn't. Thankfully, I was worried for a second. Yeah, but thank God you're back. So I just didn't know what to do. But anyways, before anything happens, let's say goodbye. We'll see you next week. Come back the same time. Stay blessed.
And Africa is watching. Bye-bye.
Watching.